Death is a certainty for all, but in the Bible, some deaths stand out as truly mysterious, shocking, or terrifying. Some were instant, others were slow and tragic, but all of them carried deep spiritual meanings. From kings who were consumed by worms, to prophets mauled by lions, and men who simply vanished without a trace, the Bible records 7 strange and unforgettable deaths that still leave people in awe. 1. The man who touched the ark, Uzzah, struck down by God. In 2 Samuel 6:6-7, King David was transporting the Ark of the Covenant to Jerusalem. The ark, which represented God's presence, was placed on an ox cart. As they traveled, the oxen stumbled, and a man named Uzzah instinctively reached out to steady the ark. In an instant, God struck him dead. Why did this happen? God had given specific instructions on how the ark should be carried. Only Levites could touch it, and it had to be carried with poles, Numbers 4:15. Uzzah violated God's command, and as a result, his irreverence led to his immediate death. This death was a warning that even well-intentioned actions must be in line with God's commands. 2. King Herod, eaten by worms. In Acts 12:21-23, King Herod Agrippa. Fatim was ruling over Judea. He was a man who sought glory for himself rather than giving honor to God. One day, as he sat on his throne in royal robes, the people began shouting, "This is the voice of a god, not a man." Herod accepted the praise. In that moment, the angel of the Lord struck him, and he was eaten by worms and died. Herod had persecuted Christians, even killing the apostle James. His pride led to his downfall. He took God's glory for himself. This was a horrific death, a clear sign that God will not share his glory with anyone. Jezebel, the infamous queen of Israel, was one of the most wicked women in the Bible. She murdered prophets, spread Baal worship, and ruled with cruelty. But her violent death was foretold. In 2 Kings 9:30-37, as the warrior Jehu entered Jezreel, Jezebel mocked him from a palace window. Jehu commanded, "Who is on my side? Throw her down." Her own servants pushed her from the window. She fell to the ground, and Jehu's horses trampled over her. Later, when they went to bury her, they found that wild dogs had eaten most of her body, just as the prophet Elijah had predicted. Jezebel's wickedness and idolatry had led Israel away from God. Her violent end was divine justice, showing that evil will always be punished. 4th, Korah and his followers, swallowed by the earth. In Numbers 16, a man named Korah led a rebellion against Moses and Aaron. He and 250 leaders accused them of taking too much power for themselves. Moses warned them, "If you are wrong, may the earth swallow you alive." Then, in an instant, the ground split open beneath them. Korah and his followers fell into the earth alive. The ground closed over them, and they were never seen again. Korah challenged God's chosen leadership. He sought power and control instead of following God's order. This was a terrifying lesson, that God defends his chosen leaders, and rebellion against him leads to destruction. The prophet mauled by a lion. In 1 Kings 13, a man of God was sent to deliver a prophecy against an evil king. God had given him one strict command: "Do not eat or drink anything in this place. Return home a different way." But an old prophet tricked him, saying God had changed his command. The man of God believed the lie, ate a meal, and then left. On the road, a lion attacked and killed him, but strangely the lion did not eat his body or harm his donkey. The prophet disobeyed God's direct instruction. It was a warning that God's words must be obeyed fully, no matter who tells you otherwise. 6th, Absalom, hung in a tree by his hair. Absalom, the rebellious son of King David, wanted to overthrow his father and take the throne. He gathered an army and declared himself king. But in 2 Samuel 18, as he fled from battle, something unexpected happened. Absalom had long, thick hair, and as he rode through a forest, his hair got caught in a tree. His mule kept running, leaving him hanging between heaven and earth. David's commander Joab found him and killed him with 3 spears. Absalom's pride and rebellion led to his downfall. His own vanity, his hair, was what trapped him. This was a tragic end to a son who betrayed his father and God. 7. Ananias and Sapphira, struck dead for lying to God. In Acts 5, a married couple, Ananias and Sapphira, sold their land and pretended to donate all the money to the early church. But they secretly kept some money for themselves. When Ananias came before Peter, the apostle asked, "Why have you lied to the Holy Spirit?" Instantly, Ananias fell dead. 3 hours later, his wife Sapphira arrived, and she too fell dead. They tried to deceive God and the church. This was a warning to all believers, that God sees everything, even the lies we try to hide. Each of these strange deaths carries a spiritual lesson. Uzzah, do not take God's holiness lightly. Herod, pride leads to destruction. Jezebel, wickedness will be judged. Korah, rebellion against God leads to disaster. The prophet, obedience to God is non-negotiable. Absalom, betrayal and pride bring downfall. Ananias and Sapphira, you cannot deceive God. These deaths may be shocking, but they serve as powerful reminders. God is just, God is holy, and God sees everything. For more Bible content, remember to subscribe, like and turn on your notification bell.